Galactic Empire laughed at Earth, until human teleporting fleet was revealed. They laughed at Earth for exactly 8 minutes. That was how long the Galactic Empire allowed the human delegation to speak before amusement drowned them out. The Chamber of Sovereigns orbited a dead star, appropriate, many would later say. A ring world of black stone and gold-lit sigils, large enough to host the ruling species of half the galaxy. Gravity fields tailored for every physiology. Atmospheres layered like a political compromise. At the center stood the humans. No exocets. No honor guards. No intimidation displays. Just 3 people in dark uniforms that looked old-fashioned. High Strategos Valron of the Galactic Empire leaned back on his floating dais, 6 eyes blinking in lazy contempt. His species had ruled star systems before Earth discovered agriculture. "You call yourselves humanity," he said, voice magnified across the chamber. "Yet you possess no empire, no client species, no meaningful military presence beyond your own star." Polite laughter rippled through the delegates. Valron continued, "Our scouts report your fleets rely on conventional FTL corridors. Predictable. Slow. Vulnerable. Frankly, you should be grateful we noticed you at all." The human ambassador, Elias Crow, did not respond immediately. Crow was old, late 60s by Earth reckoning. Gray hair cropped short. Eyes like weathered steel. The posture of a man who had worn uniforms long before he wore suits. He waited for the laughter to die. It didn't. So he spoke anyway. "High Strategos," Crow said calmly. "You didn't notice us late." Valron's frill flared in amusement. "Oh? You noticed us exactly when we wanted you to." That earned more laughter. Louder this time. Some species found the idea genuinely charming. General Maravance, standing half a step behind Crow, checked the time on a battered analog watch. No hologram. No neural interface. A real watch. Tick. Tick. Valron waved a claw dismissively. "Let us dispense with theatrics. The Empire offers Earth Protectorate status. Your governments remain nominally independent. Your military will be reduced. Your resources redistributed for galactic stability." Crow nodded slowly. "And if we refuse?" Valron smiled, a terrifying thing involving too many teeth. "Then you will learn the difference between a civilization and a footnote." Crow sighed. Not in fear. In disappointment. "Gentlemen," he said, turning slightly to address the chamber, "may I ask you all a question?" Several delegates hissed, chirped, or pulsed irritation. "Why?" Crow continued. "Do you assume we survived long enough to reach the stars by being bad at violence?" The laughter stopped, not completely, but unevenly now. Uncomfortable. Valron leaned forward. "Are you threatening?" "No," Crow interrupted gently. "I'm explaining." General Vance spoke for the first time. Her voice was flat, military, utterly uninterested in politics. "Mark." The chamber lights flickered. Once. A minor power fluctuation. Engineers would later swear it was impossible. Across Imperial space, something worse happened. The Galactic Empire's third expansion fleet, 2,000 warships guarding the trade arteries near Earth, ceased to exist in any recognizable tactical configuration. They weren't destroyed. They were interrupted. Human ships appeared inside the formation. Not emerging from hyperspace. Not arriving through jump gates. They simply occupied space that had already been taken. Teleportation. True spatial displacement, matter rewritten from one coordinate to another without transition. Physics screamed and then died. An Imperial cruiser vanished in a sphere of white annihilation as a human battleship materialized halfway through its reactor core. Shields collapsed. Hulls folded inward. Crews died without understanding why alarms had even sounded. Human vessels didn't move like fleets. They blinked. Vanished. Reappeared. Everywhere. The first panicked tactical feed burst into the Chamber of Sovereigns. Then another. Then hundreds. "What is this?" shrieked a delegate species whose military doctrine was older than Earth's written language. Valrun stared as his third fleet unraveled in seconds. "This is impossible," he whispered. "Teleportation of mass at this scale violates every known law," Crow finished. "Yes. We know." The human ships opened fire. No warnings. No demands. Kinetic slugs accelerated to relativistic speeds inside point-blank range. Plasma cutters sliced through shields from the inside. Boarding parties appeared directly on command decks, weapons already raised. The feeds showed humans fighting with grim efficiency. No glory. No mercy. One Imperial captain screamed at the armored human standing in his bridge. "You are barbarians! You could have negotiated!" The human removed his helmet. Middle-aged. Scar across one cheek. Dead eyes. "We tried that," he said, and pulled the trigger. Back in the chamber, panic spread like rot. "You said Earth had no fleet," shouted a trade consortium envoy. Crow nodded. "Correct." Valrun's voice shook. "Then what is that?" Crow gestured to the burning holograms. "That's not a fleet," he said. "That's a contingency." General Vance activated a small device at her wrist. A quantum anchor flared to life. Every human ship vanished at once. The chamber exhaled in collective terror. Then the feeds returned. Human vessels reappeared across Imperial territory, inside shipyards, fuel depots, defense grids. Not attacking. Marking. Quantum beacons embedded into spacetime itself. Permanent. Unremovable. A targeting signature that laughed at stealth and borders. Valrun collapsed back into his dais. You can strike anywhere," he said. Crow leaned closer. "We already did," he replied softly. "Then why stop?" Valrun demanded. Crow's voice hardened. "Because this was the demonstration." The chamber fell silent. "We spent centuries pretending to be slow," Crow continued. "Predictable. Weak. Because the moment the galaxy realized distance no longer protected it." He paused. "Every war would become extermination." General Vance checked her watch again. "Message sent," she said. Crow straightened and addressed the chamber one final time. "You laughed because you thought we were behind you," he said. "In truth, we were already standing inside your walls." The human delegation turned and walked out. Behind them, the Galactic Empire did not laugh again. Not that day. Not ever. The day the Empire tried to hit back. The Galactic Empire did not collapse that day. Empires rarely do. They harden first. Within hours of the human delegation's exit, emergency authority was invoked across 77 sectors. Civilian traffic was frozen. Borders sealed. Fleets recalled. Priests, analysts, admirals, and executioners all spoke at once. The conclusion was unanimous. Earth must be destroyed. High Strategos Valrun stood before the Interwar Council, his once ornate frill now stripped bare, a sign of absolute crisis. "They violated causality," he hissed. "They weaponized distance itself. If this capability spreads, the Empire becomes irrelevant." An elder admiral clicked his mandibles nervously. "Their ships withdrew. That suggests limitation. Cooldowns. Anchors. Some form of vulnerability." "Yes," Valrun snapped. "And we will find it by force." Orders were issued that would later be called the most expensive mistake in galactic history. Every Empire-class weapon within striking range of Sol was activated. Not fleets. Annihilation doctrine. Gravitic lances capable of cracking planets. Star-Eater mines designed to destabilize suns. Temporal shear weapons outlawed by treaties older than most species' memory. If humanity could step anywhere, then Earth would be erased so completely there would be nowhere left to stand. The strike force launched without ceremony, and ran headfirst into a problem no one had planned for. Earth was gone. Not destroyed. Not evacuated. Gone. Sol still burned. The planets still orbited. Asteroids followed their lazy arcs. But Earth, third planet, blue jewel, human homeworld, simply wasn't there. In its place hung a void scar. A gravitational echo like a missing tooth in reality. "What trickery is this?" demanded the fleet commander. Sensors went mad trying to resolve the absence. Then a signal arrived. Open broadcast. No encryption. Ambassador Crow's face appeared, older somehow. More tired. Less patient. "You aimed at the wrong target," he said. The human fleet emerged. Not around Earth. Around them. Teleportation didn't bring ships. It brought environments. The Imperial strike force found itself suddenly embedded inside a lattice of artificial space, massive constructs humans called combat volumes. Folded regions of reality where distance, inertia, and line of sight belonged to whoever built the room. Human warships appeared in firing solutions that had no angles, because angles no longer mattered. The first gravitic lance never finished charging. A human destroyer materialized inside its containment field. Both vanished in a white silence. Imperial commanders screamed for retreats, for countermeasures, for anything. Human voices answered. Calm. Professional. Almost bored. "This is Captain O'Rourke, Terran Expeditionary Force," a voice said over open channel. "You are currently trespassing in a restricted human combat space. Weapons discharge will be interpreted as consent to escalation. You moved your homeworld," the fleet commander roared. Crow's image returned. "No," he said. "We unanchored it." A murmur of horror spread through the Imperial ranks. "You see," Crow continued, "we asked ourselves a simple question a long time ago. If teleportation ever failed, what would be the most dangerous thing to lose?" The image shifted. Old footage. Grainy. Human scientists arguing. Military officers shouting. A younger General Vance slamming her fist on a table. A subtitle appeared. "The Soul Accords classified. We ban teleportation weapons inside our own territory," Crow said. "First law we ever passed as a unified species." The footage showed simulations. Earth erased. Earth duplicated. Earth colliding with itself. Billions dead in test models. "We realize something," Crow said quietly. "Any species capable of teleportation warfare must choose between empire or survival." The Imperial fleet fired anyway. Desperation does that. Temporal shear weapons tore at spacetime, trying to unravel the combat volume itself. For a moment it almost worked. Then the humans did something no one expected. They boarded the weapons. Marines appeared inside the timeshear platforms as they fired. Reality buckled. Men aged decades in seconds. Others froze mid-motion like statues. The humans kept moving. Old men. Women with gray hair braided tight. Soldiers who had already retired once. They fought like people who had already made peace with dying. One Imperial officer watched in disbelief as a human sergeant dragged a wounded comrade through a temporal distortion, his own skin wrinkling and smoothing with every step. "Why would you send the old?" the officer demanded as he was pinned to the deck. The sergeant grunted. "Because the young are building tomorrow," he said. "We're just here to end today." The combat volume collapsed inward. Imperial ships vanished, teleported not into space, but into containment vaults light years away. Disarmed. Stripped. Catalogued. Captured. Those that resisted were erased. When the last shot faded, the human fleet remained. Untouched. Crow addressed the surviving Imperial commanders. "You wanted to know our weakness," he said. "Here it is." The image widened. Earth reappeared elsewhere. Orbiting a different star. Surrounded by a lattice of anchors, tethers, and folded space defenses that made direct targeting meaningless. "We can't teleport casually," Crow said. "Every jump costs us something. Energy. Stability. Time." He leaned closer. "So we only use it when the alternative is extinction." Valron's voice came through hollow. "What do you want?" Crow didn't answer immediately. Instead, another feed opened. An imperial agricultural world, one the Empire had stripped bare decades earlier, now ringed with human-age ships. Terraforming arrays active. Food being delivered. Human voices laughing. Arguing. Living. "We're not conquering you," Crows said at last. "We're replacing you." Silence. "Your empire runs on fear and distance," he continued. "We removed both." The channel closed. Across the galaxy, client species listened. And remembered. The man sent to learn why humans laugh. They sent him because he was already broken. Strategist observer Kelt Sar had once commanded planetary sieges. He had signed extinction orders with steady hands and slept afterward. But since the disaster at Sol, since the unanchoring, he woke to silence where pride used to live. The Empire needed answers. Not battlefield assessments. Not fleet projections. They needed to know what kind of people would build a weapon that could move a homeworld, and choose not to use it. So they stripped Kelt of insignia, altered his biochemistry to pass for a minor trade species, and dropped him at the edge of human space with one order: find their soul. He expected fortresses. He expected paranoia. What he found was a bar. It was called the Last Light, built into the rotating spine of an orbital station that overlooked a gas giant with copper-colored storms. The bar had dents in the walls, real ones, from thrown objects, not battle. Old music played too loud. Humans argued over sports teams from planets he didn't recognize. No guard stopped him. No scanners screamed. A sign over the bar read: "No politics. No heroes. Buy a round or go home." Kelt took a seat. A human bartender with a prosthetic arm slid him a drink without asking. "First one's cheap," she said. "Second one tells us if you're trouble." Kelt tasted it. Burned. Warmed. Alive. "Why are you not afraid?" he asked. The bartender laughed. "Buddy, if you're here, you're already too late to scare us." Around him sat human veterans, old men, scarred women, missing limbs, quiet eyes. They didn't wear uniforms. They wore history. One noticed Kelt watching. "You look like a man waiting for permission to breathe," the human said. "We'll do that. I am studying your species," Kelt said carefully. "Ah," the man grinned. "Anthropology or espionage?" "Both." "Fair." They clinked glasses. Kelt spent weeks drifting through human systems. No grand monuments. No imperial pageantry. Just scars and repairs. He saw shipyards where half the workers were retirees. He saw children learning orbital mechanics the way Imperial young learned obedience. He saw arguments, constant, vicious arguments, about policy, war ethics, and whether teleportation should exist at all. One night, on a mining moon, he watched a human couple argue in low voices. "You promised you were done," the woman said. "I was," the man replied. "Then they came too close." She leaned her forehead against his chest. "I'm tired of surviving." "So am I," he said. "That's why I go back." "So you don't have to." Kelt recorded everything. And understood none of it. Until he met General Mara Vance again. She was on a quiet station overlooking a binary star system, walking without escort. Older now. Slower. Still terrifying. "You're the spy," she said without turning. Kelt froze. "You didn't stop me," he said. "We don't stop observers," Vance replied. "We stop threats." She gestured for him to walk. "You want to know why we laugh?" she asked. "Yes. Because if we don't, we remember." She stopped near a viewport. Outside floated a graveyard. Thousands of ships, human and alien, locked in permanent orbit. No decay. No salvage. Names etched into hulls. "This is where teleportation went wrong the first time," Vance said. Kelt's breath caught. "How many died?" Vance's jaw tightened. "Enough that we decided no one should ever get good at it." "You mastered it anyway," Kelt said. "No," she corrected. "We survived it." She looked at him then. You build empires so you don't have to feel small, she said. We build limits so we don't become monsters. Kelt sent his report to the Empire that night. It was 3 words long. Do not provoke them. The response came hours later. Too late. An Imperial hardliner faction, old blood, untouched by recent defeats, had launched a final measure. Not an attack on Earth. On human memory. A weapon designed to collapse quantum anchors across multiple systems. Teleportation nodes destabilized. Civilian stations blinking out. Accidents. Failures. Human space began to bleed. Kelt watched emergency channels fill with names. Civilian transports lost between coordinates. Children. Families. The laughter stopped. Across human networks, one phrase appeared again and again. Soul accords lifted. Kelt found himself back at the last light. The bartender didn't smile this time. Drink? She asked. Yes, he said. She poured 2. For who? He asked. For who we're about to become, she replied. Alarms rang. Old ships powered up. Retirees reported in. General Vance's voice echoed across every channel, steady, cold, final. Teleportation combat restrictions revoked. Civilian safety protocols suspended. Kelt felt something he had never felt in all his years of war. Fear. Not of death. Of what came after restraint. As human fleets vanished from docks across 100 systems, Kelt understood the truth at last. Humanity hadn't been hiding its power. It had been hiding its anger. When humanity decided to stop playing nice, the galaxy held its breath. Not the Empire. Not the Allies. Not even neutral systems. Every species that had ever measured Earth's worth, or dismissed it, felt the pulse of something old, something sharp, moving through space. It started simply. Human ships blinked back into existence across Imperial-controlled sectors. Not in fleets. Not in battle lines. They appeared inside command hubs, starship docks, and orbital fortresses. Every human vessel teleported with precision that was almost elegant, almost cruel. Why aren't they attacking? Whispered an officer on the bridge of a warship trapped in a human combat lattice. A young human marine appeared behind him. Because, he said, calm, tired, deadly, we never attack what isn't trying to hurt us. Then they did. Not in the abstract. Not in politics or doctrine. But in ways the Empire hadn't anticipated. Supply lines severed, fleets neutralized without hull breaches, communications replaced with data on Imperial atrocities, colonies raided, resources stolen, populations enslaved. Each revelation carried the subtle sting of humor. Dark humor. Humans left notes on every captured station. Next time, ask before you plunder. We don't keep trophies, just memories. Your diplomats missed the part about respect. Imperial command scrambled. Every attempt to concentrate power was foiled by the very space itself bending against them. Teleportation didn't just move humans, it moved consequences, ideas, and fear directly into the Empire's chest. High strategos Valrun realized the bitter truth. Humanity didn't need ships to conquer. They needed presence. They were already everywhere the Empire feared. Crow's voice cut across the galaxy on all open channels, flat, authoritative, final. We are not here to dominate. We are here to remind you. Power is not in numbers. It is in choice. Choice. That word struck harder than plasma beams. Admirals whispered it in panic. Traders muttered it as their ships folded in on themselves. Scientists, who had spent millennia chasing the limits of physics, realized humans had simply redrawn them. And then the twist: Crow's fleet, the teleporting nightmare the Empire had feared, did not annihilate worlds. They rebuilt them. War zones became sanctuaries. Colonies lost to imperial greed were restored. Resources redistributed. Technology shared, but only just enough to survive, never enough to dominate. Humanity became a ghostly sword over the Empire's shoulder, a promise hanging in every sector: we are here, and we remember what you are capable of. Valron, for the first time, understood the cruelty in restraint. The Empire could crush planets, enslave systems, erase species. Humanity could crush empires. And they didn't. Not yet. When the final negotiation came, it was not a surrender. It was a lesson. Crow, standing in front of the High Council once more, said, "You laughed at us because you saw what you wanted, small, weak humans. You forgot the part about choice, endurance, and memory. You forgot that when pushed, we don't just fight back, we rewrite the rules." The council trembled. Silence fell. Not one species dared to speak first. The humans turned, walked away, leaving behind a galaxy that had no illusions left. In the months that followed, systems whispered the story of Earth, of blue oceans folded into starlight, of fleets that appeared where none should exist, of people who laughed while staring into the heart of destruction, and of a restraint so absolute it made terror itself an art form. Humans never claimed victory. They never demanded homage. They simply were, and the galaxy learned to measure its arrogance in the shadow of their choice. Somewhere, High Strategos Valrun recorded his final assessment. His mandibles clicked with a mixture of awe and fear. Humanity is a weapon the galaxy cannot wield, and yet, it is already deployed. The universe changed that day. Not because humans wanted to rule it. Not because they sought revenge. But because they existed, and no empire, no council, no species, could ever again underestimate what a human could do when cornered, clever, and unafraid. And somewhere on a distant orbital bar, a retired human soldier raised a glass, grinned, and muttered to no one, "Don't worry, kid. We only laugh until it's time to fight." The galaxy did not laugh back. It bowed.